Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining our first session of today's Tech Showcase. Before we get started, I just want to go over a few things and keep in mind that these will apply to all of our sessions today. So first, we do have that chat box. Make sure to drop your LinkedIn, let us know where you're tuning in from. We'd love to hear your thoughts and what you're excited about for today's Tech Showcase. And just to get to know each other. Next, we do have that Q&A box. Any questions that you might have for our speaker, drop them there, and we will get to them at the end. And now I will hand it on over to Laureline with Momentive.
Thank you, Bridget. All right. Well, good afternoon, good morning, and I hope this exciting Green Book webinar finds you well, wherever you are. I'm delighted to showcase for you today the Momentive way to Agile Market Research. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about myself before we start. So my name is Laureline Amelhat, and I'm a market research solutions engineer here at Momentive. My background is both in marketing and market research. I worked for CPG for quite a few years in marketing innovation before transitioning to brand strategy, brand architecture, and now market research at Momentive. So from my CPG days working on global brands, I vividly remember how challenging it was to practice agile decision making with limited number of market research included in the learning plan, not to mention lengthy turnaround times. So to get the results and then also some more time to interpret and analyze them. I won't regale you with too many stories of, decisions made based on opinions, and maybe they were just not completely aligned with all the stakeholders, only to be reopened a few weeks later, completely derailing sometimes the critical path schedule to the product launch, or sometimes lack of decision making, or marketing campaigns material being challenged at every handoff between teams. So I won't do that too much because you probably have many of your own very similar stories. So we'll go from there. So first of all, who is Momentive and why are we speaking to the topic of Agile Market Research today? I'm going to show you quickly. We are a tech-first market research company, enabling insights at radical speed. So I feel we're well suited to speak to the topic. We are the makers of SurveyMonkey. So if you were wondering where the link is between the two brands, mystery solved. And indeed, talking about brands, brands of all sizes work with Momentive as their go-to Agile market research partner. We have over 23 solutions for the most common research market research needs, global scale panel in over 130 markets, and all of this to deliver unparalleled speed and quality. So in the demo later, which I'm excited to show you, you'll get to see how this expertise and the quality and, of course, the speed is embedded into the solutions, right? So let's take a closer look at what we offer. We'll touch on that really quickly, and then we'll go to the agenda. So here is our capabilities at a glance. We can be that one platform for all the quantitative market research needs, ranging from market insights to product insights, brand tracking, testing solutions, pricing optimization, usage and attitudes, many different types of solutions that we have. But something that's really important and key for Agile market research especially is that it all starts with our AI-powered insights platform. So our AI engine delivers automated insights, statistical analysis modules, and industry benchmarks. And that all contributes to the speed, but also the quality of decision-making. We have our global panel integrated, as I mentioned before, and then, of course, our market research experts team who are available to do, purpose or custom market research needs. So now let's dive a little deeper into today's theme of Agile market research. All right. The agenda for today. So we'll look, now that the introductions are done, we'll look at first key findings from internal research, looking at decision-making in an agile world, the unique challenges and opportunities of the agile product lifecycle, then real-world example of agile creative testing in action with Chime, and then last but not least, demo of our idea screener for early stage testing. And then we'll close with, what's next at Momentive, and then time for Q&A. All right. So the first thing is Agile Market Research is obviously here to support Agile decision-making. And then Agile decision-making, it seems to be the name of the game, but I would add to that it doesn't mean fast at any cost. The decision-making needs to be sound, needs to be visible and digestible by non-experts as well to gain the maximum alignment in the company. And this is really what makes up good and long-lasting decision-making. So Agile, yes, but it also needs to be long-lasting to continue to be Agile. So Momentive research team runs regular studies based on customer feedback and trending issues. We have one recurring that explores the landscape, so concerns and key top of mind aspects for business decision makers. And one key study that we conducted in 2022 with results of 2,500 business decision makers. I'm going to share some of the key learnings and key conclusions here as it relates to Agile decision making. So very importantly, what we saw is that, of course, with speed and efficiency, there is a need for quick decisions. But somehow many leaders actually mentioned that they experience decision paralysis in their current role. Whether it's inaction, slower decisions, and then of course adverse effect on the organization strategy. There are two key challenges that they mention when asked. One is insufficient data, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. And the other one is lengthy timelines. That's pretty clear. That's pretty self-explanatory. So insufficient data is more than just a lack of data. Sometimes it is too much data, but it might not be utilized. It might not be digestible or ready to present. It might also be that in terms of resources, in terms of teams to analyze them and to turn them into insights, there are smaller and smaller teams. And so it's getting harder to turn those data into insights that can be shared in the company. So insufficient is not just a lack of. And then longer timeline, that's pretty self-explanatory, but you'd think the timelines are getting shorter, and they should be with the life cycle of products and brands. But very often, business decision makers who mention those issues of longer timelines, they also mention the average number of stakeholders involved in decisions are above 7. So any decisions made, 7 or more people have to be involved, have to be aligned, have to buy into that specific decision. And that definitely lengthens timelines when not everyone is aligned or not everyone shares the same data as a base to decide. All right, so let's take a look now at the ever accelerating product, brand, services lifecycle. And this is really the trigger of Agile Market Research, of Agile decision making, which is that many of the aspects of the product, brand, or services lifecycle are accelerating. So traditionally, when we think of a product, service, or brand, this is often that visual curve for the life cycle that we think or that comes to mind. But due to the need of speed to market increasing, product life cycle looks often a little bit more like this now. It looks a bit more like a series of iterations and supported by Agile Market Research. This is rooted in the Agile methodology that was first introduced in software development. And Agile Market Research takes on a lot of the same characteristics that you'd find in a startup culture. This is the Agile Market Research framework, and the framework is about answering questions as they come up. And I'm sure many of the insights professionals attending today will know too well that questions come up all the time. especially from the marketeers. I can say that I was one. So Agile Market Research is, it's an approach that is meant to break down those lengthy projects and timeline, and then break them into frequent sprints where you adapt to challenges on the fly. That definitely requires agility. Whether you're testing, validating, or optimizing strategies, whether it's ideas, concepts, campaigns, or brands, all the while tracking progress, it takes what otherwise might be long into smaller sprints, more manageable. And the beauty of this framework is versatility. But the challenge of this framework is versatility. So meaning that, speed and quality have to go hand in hand without breaking the bank. All right. So now let's have a look at agile testing in action. The speed of product, services, and brand lifecycle, combined with the decision paralysis that some business decision makers often experience, that is very much the reason that Momentive develops solutions and innovates in the agile market research space. One of our solutions that is often used in situations where a decision needs to be made in a matter of hours, not days or weeks, it's our ad and concept testing solutions. So we can look at a case study. This one is about our customer Chime. For background, Chime uses Momentive to target new users, to vet partnerships, to get insights on brand sentiment, both at regular intervals as well as on demand. So that's, how they partner with us. But a situation came up that really was a test of timing in the form of an opportunity that unfolded into one single business day. So at the time, the Dallas Mavericks approached Chime about a potential partnership. And the Chimes team was called into action. They had to run a very fast, highly targeted study to support, to infirm or confirm the decision that they were looking to make that same day. They needed to know if the NBA would be a match for the audience they currently serve. Would their customers have loyalties with other teams? Would their customers have loyalties with other sports? Could that partnership create tension or have more benefits for the brand? So this was definitely no light decision, especially to make in under 6 hours. So speed was super important. It was key, of course, but it would have been pointless without a robust methodology, data quality, and AI-powered insights. So the results came right at 5:04. News team says 5:04 p.m. And they had a little bit of time, 15-20 minutes to finish to prepare, and then to present the results by 6 p.m. to the board. And then the deal was done at 8 p.m. that same evening. Definitely, this was a great way for Chime to leverage the speed, and more than the speed, the agility of the solution, showing that speed is one thing, but it's nothing without methodology, data quality, or quickly digestible and presentable insights. All right, very good. So next is actually our demo, our idea screener. And you can see, I want to show you the simplicity of setting it up, defining your target audience, launching, and then seeing the AI insights available right after fielding. This is where you will see that this simplicity impacts, of course, the speed to setting up, the speed to launching, again, together with the quality and the expertise built in. The idea screener is part of our testing solutions family, and I'm going to show you actually which one, where it sits basically, and then what's its role compared to the other team members, or the other family members. So I'm going to switch over. I'm going to just double check that everything works. Yeah, I'm going to switch over to this second tab that I have. There you go. So what you see now is our homepage for Insights Solutions at Momentive. And I've purposefully, for today, selected product development and ad creative development solutions. So these are use cases or solutions that are built for use cases when you're developing a product, a service, or an ad or creative or brand. All of them, and you can see different flavors. So whether you're testing a static image, a video, pure text, or a mix of them, then you can select any of the solutions. All of them are what we call monadic methodology. This is the most robust in this case. It will show each respondent only one stimuli and then compare, of course, with statistical significance. One that is different is the one that I'm going to show you, is our idea screener, and it's sequential monadic. And that only means that each respondent will see more than one stimuli. And so it's really nice and efficient in terms of sample size, for example. But it actually is really, really helpful to take a long list of, you name it, ideas, names, claims, a long list down to a shorter list. So it's a perfect tool to shorten the list of ideas down to, let's say, 3 or 4 that are the key ones that you want to go after, that you want to further develop. This is perfectly suited for early stage testing. Yeah. All right. So I would actually go ahead and click here on Get Started so that you actually can set up the study on your own and really quickly. I'm going to hop on over to one that has where the stimuli is already uploaded, but you get the idea. And here it's just a matter of uploading, an image or a video or whatever you might need here. Yeah. So you can browse for an image on your computer and upload it that way. All right, let me switch you over so that it looks a little nicer. Imagine for a minute now that you are part of the marketing or the insights team at Viverly. It's a supplement and vitamin brand, and they are looking at several packaging ideas for their new vitamins. So, we've uploaded 12, I believe, in total, and there you go. So once you have all of your stimuli uploaded, you can select the number of stimuli that each respondent will see within the guardrails of 5 maximum. So we've built into all those best practices within here, within the platform itself, so that you can play within great practices already. And then you can select the number of respondents that you wish for each stimuli. A couple of hundreds is what we recommend to be the minimum. Next up, and I'm going to scroll back up. Next up is for you to select the audience. So you would actually be able directly into the solution, again, gaining that no time lost there. So you can define your audience by targeting options, by demographics, of course, targeting options, and then also screening questions can be added. Same for the programming. No need to lose any time here. There is already quite a long, good, solid library of attributes, meaning questions that you can ask about your stimuli. All right, and you can simply select or unselect as you need. All right, save. You can also create your own custom ones. And then you can add custom questions and compare all the different stimuli all at once. Next up before launching is the preview, where you can see the different screen sizes and see what that exactly looks like for respondents. So you're ensuring also that quality that we were talking about to enable this agile decision making, which is not just about speed, but also about doing things right, so that it's a long-lasting decision making. Yeah. And then once you're happy with it, you've tested the different stimuli and the different logic, you can go ahead and check out and launch directly. And in that case, for general population, we tend to see fielding time, within a few hours. So this is something that is really, really helpful for teams who need this agility, who need this flexibility to be able to launch, whenever. Sometimes it's at 6 p.m. on a Friday or on a Thursday or whenever, and then they might need the results the next day. We see that for Gen Pop, this is absolutely feasible, and it fills in very little time. So let's say you fielded, and then the results are in. Let's see what you can see the minute that the field closes. This is the analysis. And so what you'll see as well is a summary scorecard already tested for statistical significance. You're able to quickly see which ones are the stimuli that score really well, which ones are the stimuli that score meaningfully well. And then to perfect the analysis, you can create filters here so that you're able to see for subgroups. So let's say you want to see only parents of children or retirees or young professionals. So you can actually create filters, save them, and have them for later. Last but definitely not least, we've embedded AI-powered insights. So let's go ahead and explore. What our AI-powered insights do is, the AI engine will pick up on the high scores, but also on the low scores, because you do want to keep an eye on that. And then look at every possible cut of the data and surface the groups that have been driving that score. This is definitely something that you don't want to lose any time on. You want to have this kind of insight surface really quickly so that you're able to start digging into the why and a little bit further into the different subgroups. So this is a great time saver for the team, especially when the team is strapped for resources or bandwidth or expertise sometimes. Another time saver is the export. So you're able to export in PowerPoint, and I will show you what that looks like. It's actually a native PowerPoint, so you're able to edit. This one I downloaded earlier, download and open, and this is exactly what it looks like. I will say that for someone who spent many, many hours of my life making PowerPoint slides, adjusting them, checking the layout, fine-tuning for hours, this is a great start. This is a great way to time save again, and be able to socialize the result, to disseminate them in a way that is digestible, that is visual, and that is understandable for experts and non-experts in the company. Okay. All right. So I'm going to come back to the slides here. We're going to go to the next one, which is, what's next for Momentive. I just want to make sure we have a few minutes for the questions. I realize I've been speaking for a while. Yes, so in a nutshell, what's next for Momentive is definitely the focus on AI. We are redefining AI already. We continue to work and strive towards further innovation in AI as well, whether it's in best practices, so building surveys or how to word them, and then how to analyze them in the way that is the most efficient, and to enable this agile decision making that we're looking for. So thank you for your attention so far. Any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Let me see. All right.
Awesome. Thanks so much for all of that great information. We do have time for some questions. So is it possible to use our own customer database contacts to run these studies?
So that's a great question. So yes, it is. I actually didn't touch on that because we're focusing on the integration of the panel that we have. So we do have the panel. You can, so any of our solutions, you can actually go ahead and disseminate within your own customer panel or consumer panel and gather the data in the same way. So yes, absolutely.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Do you support studies in other markets than the US?
So yes, we do, especially, yeah, I mean, all of the solutions. So we do two things about that. One is clearly the panel is a global one. So, over 130 countries, over 175 million panel reach globally. And but the other aspect is that we do support multilingual surveys. So you're able to actually serve the survey that you're building in different languages, and that includes also our solution.
Great. Where do you find respondents?
Yes. Yes. So basically we have our own proprietary panel in the US, as well as panel partners that we work with. Um, it's a mix of how the recruitment is done, for sure. It's a mix of opt-in from past surveys, to download of apps, to just simply database where someone would have opted in and saying that they're okay to be targeted potentially in the future, or reached out to potentially in the future. Yeah, and then they are either compensated directly or via charitable donations that they make, that we make on their behalf, for example. So yes, and then we have. I want to make sure. So this is very consumer focused. What I just said right now about the panel. We also have panel partners that we work with for B2B target audiences or more niche audiences. So yeah. So we do. Yeah, we find them in different places.
Awesome. And kind of going off of that, how do you ensure that the data from respondents is accurate?
That's a big question, and we do take data quality just extremely seriously. It is key because it's a bit pointless otherwise. So we have different layers of data quality checks in place, whether it's bots and frauds detection, straight lining detection, speeding. Respondents are given scores as well, quality scores. So that also impacts their involvement in further studies, things like that. And then, of course, in true Momentive SurveyMonkey fashion, your data it's very transparent. So you always have access to your raw data. You're able to have a look yourself, and then flag if anything is not up to scratch. And that's part of our commitment. So yeah, that's a great question, actually. Yes, thank you.
Awesome. And we do have time for one more question. Can surveys be purchased on an ad hoc basis, or do we need to have a subscription with Momentive?
So, I mean, they can be definitely purchased on an ad hoc basis. There are how can I say, there are monthly subscriptions that you can go from, and solutions are there available, and it's available, of course, with our subscriptions. In terms of sort of higher engagement, comes a lot more support and services. But yeah, thanks for checking in on that. So ad hoc is also possible. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all of this really great information. And thank you to all of our attendees for being here. And we will see you in the next session of today's Tech Showcase.
Thank you, Bridget. Thank you, everyone.